could be better? What do you wish were better about it?
I think in terms of colors, maybe?
Colors.
More colors.
Have you played this piano before? You
No.
must. No, that's always tough. To start out by playing, you know, a piece that even you might know well, but on an instrument you don't know what that's. You weren't happy with the color. Were you happy with the overall sound?
I think it could be richer.
Richer, yes, I was thinking the same. As beautifully as you played in many of your timings and things of that sort, I felt that the sound could be a little bit more. And Chopin has actually given you a gift in this Nocturne. I mean, of course, we want Nocturnes to be like moonlight, and we want them to be romantic and, how should I say, very gentle and giving and so forth. This particular Nocturne is a little bit deeper than many of Chopin's Nocturnes, I find, because it seems to speak directly from his heart. I'll tell you, I used to not like this Nocturne at all until I started teaching it. I don't play it, but I've taught it several times, and I've really come to love it because I used to think that it was a little bit like Chopin was feeling sorry for himself, you know, in this Nocturne. But then I decided, no, he is really sorry over something, as it were. I mean, maybe it's written during a time when he and George Sand were on the outs, you know, as it were. And so I think that there's a kind of searching through the pain of whatever situation that was. And it's, I mean, yes, you could say that this Nocturne is a kind of typical Nocturne. It has 3 sections in some ways, if you're thinking very big about it. But I think it's a lot more complicated than that, and deserves more color. And deserves what he gives us from the very beginning, which is this huge forte. We mustn't forget that it is forte from the beginning. This sound that just starts us out. Would you play it and remind us what that sounds like? Good, that's better. And I was very pleased that you heard the E to the C sharp, and then it can continue on, even though there is rests there. Okay, so that's important, but it would seem to me that if that phrase really does start from the E, that the E is the most important note of this kind of opening arpeggio there. And the arpeggio is written as quarter notes, right? Quarter, 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 and then you have this glorious E, which is going to be a whole note through that. I think that you need a lot of rich sound. And I was wondering, as you were playing, if you can get richer sound from your shoulders. Okay? So when you play, let me see if I can get some sound out of this instrument. I want from the beginning, of course, that the C sharp can be big. But there needs to be a lot of weight behind that. So it's just full. I mean, you can say the F is equal to full from the beginning. Can we try? And although they are quarter notes, I want you to feel that all of this gets us to the E. That has to really sing beyond the back wall. Can we try? Good. And can you follow the decay of that sound to that sound? So you have to really listen to how, listen to how the sound is behaving. I don't know if I've done this in a class here before, but we have to understand that when we play the note on the piano, it is true that it starts to decay immediately, but it doesn't decay like this. There's a life to the sound, okay? Has anyone taught you about that before? Maybe a little? Okay, think about it a lot if you're going to be playing Chopin, for sure. So we have sound from our shoulder so that our whole arm is playing. We're going to talk about that in this dolce legato. I might be having you play a little bit fuller than you want to tonight, just to kind of get it. But I would like you to really play from your arm. But you have to be listening to the shape of the sound. Sound is kind of like a candle in a way. Sometimes the sound can get taller, it can get wider, it can get down to a little blue nub, it can get very red, it can do many, many things. It doesn't just go like this. That would be very boring and uninteresting. So when we listen to this E, it goes T, you hear all the vibrations, and then you have to choose the right moment to play the C sharp. And that's really... That we can choose. Can we try? we are just holding pinkies together or something and I'm keeping you from falling off the cliff. You have to really hold and then feel how it's going to match the C sharp. Can we try it? That's better, that speaks better. Now try once again and maybe not such a big C sharp. Or to be deep. See, I don't want the C sharp to compete with the E. I have to save room for a nice E at the top. Can we try? Good. So somebody wrote here speaking. I want to hear how the F sharp goes up to the D sharp and then these F sharps keep going through the phrase with your whole arm behind it. I might be playing a little bit loud at the moment, but I want to make sure that there's fullness behind your sound. Can we try? Okay, good, thank you. Already the sound is a little bit deeper, don't you think? And a little bit more moving, a little bit more projecting. I'm not understanding when you're playing melody, what's leading the shape of your melody? What do you think? I mean, Chopin gives you this long line over everything, as he does even back as far as the second ballade. It's just long, long lines. But we have to shape, we have to decide where the goal of each gesture is, what the most important notes are. What are the important notes there? Obviously the first one gets to the D sharp. But that third F sharp is more important. And you see that he does the same kind of melodic thing. So you have to decide, how am I going to get through that very slippery scale that he does there? Okay? Try once again, just the melody itself, and see if you can make it convincing. I think your first B needs a little bit more shoulder and length between the notes. What Professor Potter was talking about the other day, double legato, which I call cantabile, that you overlap the notes a little bit more. You see, legato is a kind of continuum. Okay? If you're playing Mozart, if Mozart had written this, you might play like this. A little bit more lean, a little bit more focused in the sound from the fingertip. Okay? But Chopin is playing it so we're a little bit more overlapped, almost to the point where we don't need a pedal, almost. Can we try? Good. And then, why do you back away from that F sharp? Yes, G. That's right, exactly. And I would like there to be a little rest in the melody. Because he doesn't really give us a melody note. Good. I was so pleased that you were doing that without your pedal. Why use pedal? Why? To hear the length of the sound? So the pedal is going to help your ear listen a little better? But it does add resonance, and it adds the color that you're looking for. Also, well, it can disguise things, so you don't want to kind of let your pedal kind of... That's a nice ringing sound, but it's not a nice singing sound. I think I talked about that with someone earlier this week. That the singing sound has to come from how you use your fingers and how you're using your arm, how you're connecting notes with your ear and also with your fingers. But the pedal simply adds some beauty to that. but it is not the beauty. Is and also you have to learn to listen to the real life of the sound to match it. Okay? Can we try once again? This time you may use pedal, but don't sacrifice the beauty that you've got from your fingers. Can we try? Yes. Keep going. That's better. How does your arm feel?
More weight.
More weight, more relaxed? Does it feel tight at all anywhere in your arm mechanism? No? Good. That's better for sure. Probably we can have an even, what I want to say, more beautiful cantato, but for now, it's better. Now, when you've got your bass here, of course, that's going to set up your harmony. Chopin's been remarkably disciplined about his counterpoint here, okay? But that has to be less than the melody. If you listen to many, quote, how should I say, Chopin specialists, as it were, especially these days, I knew I would need his name and I can't remember. It's a Polish pianist who has played a recording, someone sent me, he played Chopin nocturnes and polonaises and mazurkas on an Erard piano from the 1830s. Okay? It's actually quite astonishing because everything is according to the melody. The melody is king, and then the left hand just makes the melody sound more beautiful. And we're not really tied to the pulse or the rhythm, we're tied to what the melody wants to do. I'd like you to try that here. Just lightly play the accompaniment, and it's going to sound really messy and weird, don't worry about that. But I want you to lead everything from the melody. Can we try? Yes, absolutely. No, I don't like it because you need a little bit more sound from the shoulder. Sit up straight. That's right. Relax from here. Good. This balance is better for me, I think, and it's making a little bit more sense in the melody. This is a particularly difficult nocturne, I think, because the melody is not clear, cut, and dry. Okay? So you have to keep practicing it and decide where you want to take time and so forth. But I think, for instance, here you were going far away. You wanted to back away from that F sharp, which is very beautiful, but it's against what he wrote, that he wants the melody to continue because of the slur. But you were backing away because the left hand slur finishes there. That's just a gestural thing that he's doing. And so forth. Just let the left hand do its thing while it's, you know, what I want to say, lathing the right hand, bathing it. Can we try once again from here? I promise we'll get going soon. Let's try. this section. Is a little bit dead in a way, a little bit. And then this. Oh, what are my notes? It's like the end of the relationship. But then forte immediately the scale is. Okay, I really want it to be an out per se. I don't want the relationship to end at this point. Okay? Can we start once again from the top of that page, please? And I know I'm ignoring lots of stuff in the bass and the middle voices. That will come, but you really must pay attention to the meaning of the melody first. You must at this point. Okay? Can you start the top of the page? A little bit urgent no rush in here. Right, your leaves fall faster than mine, I have to say. Just I wanted to float down. Try very hard to be. You have to hold your emotion back. And sometimes to do that, we convince ourselves that we have to shut down. I would like you to shut down on this and just let it be beautiful, the sound. Almost as if it were Debussy-like. Okay? Can you start once again from that section? And this sound. Just soft. See how soft you can play, but still project. Now, can you see? Now. Where's your forte? The forte comes from the B. And yes, I want to hear it in the left hand thumb for sure, but also in the scale, yes? I know I was probably a little bit early there, but I want this to really connect. Okay? All right, then we come back to this phrase. And we're running out of time, so I want to say just a few more things. When you get to the sostenuto section in the middle, I find in Chopin, sostenuto oftentimes comes when he starts to have very slow harmonic rhythm, which means that the harmony doesn't change very often, which oftentimes means that we play faster. So the sostenuto is more in sound rather than in tempo, and I think that your tempo was a little bit staid because you're saying, oh, it's sostenuto, I have to pull everything up. I don't think so. Actually, once you get to whatever these notes are, and then... That's actually quite fast, much faster. But because the harmony is full, like this, and doesn't change very much, it sounds a little, it doesn't sound slow, but it sounds broader in a sense. Would you try that for me, please? Yeah, but your melody's not long enough, melody. Really keep it going. Can we try? Thank you very much. I just wanted to make sure that when you are thinking about the portions of this nocturne, you are balancing it structurally, okay, so that the whole thing makes sense, rather than just kind of taking it section by section and trying to make it beautiful. You have to make it beautiful in relation to what came before, or what's coming after. There's two other things. There was a singer, I think it was Jenny Lind, but I'm not sure, who used to be able to trill when she was singing. Okay, so this is a vocal technique, and I would like it to be as smooth as possible, but still like a singer, so that it has shape, like we shaped the first one. And then, of course, the last page, I would still, it's not dead this time, but it is very, very peaceful, with the same kind of feeling as the other sections. Do you have any questions? Any complaints? Thank you very much.